Hey guys, Centurian Master and welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're on a domination game, we're on Trap, and we're in the Japanese Tier 10 destroyer the Shimakaze. We've currently got a concealment of 5.6k, torpedoes, our range is 6.4k, and a speed of 81 knots. We've got a 16-point captain, and we've got priority target, preventive maintenance, last stand, torpedo acceleration, so that gives us that minus 20% in range with the additional 5 knots, torpedo armament expertise, at minus 10% to the reload, superintendent and concealment expert, so the additional 10% reduction to detection range. It's a particularly, I feel for the Shimakaze, a particularly aggressive build. I mean, it's the best tier 10 destroyer for detection range, so you can get in close to enemy targets, but there's quite a few destroyers out there and obviously several crews out there with radar, etc, etc, so it's a very dangerous manoeuvre to want to do that in a Shimakaze. Most people favour the Type 93 Mod 3s, so the sort of like middle of the road torpedoes. I think it's about 12k, but I thought I'd give this build a go. It's very aggressive, and I don't often play aggressive, so I thought I'd give it a quick bash, and it turned up some not too bad results. I mean, it's not the hardest game I've played, but yeah, it's the highest scoring game I've had in a Shimakaze. So we're just heading off towards sea. Usual sort of pre-game approach. I think it's always important when you're in a destroyer to try and play the objective, so for me it's obviously try and get into the cap as quickly as possible, try and secure a cap as quickly as possible, but at the same time trying to be as cautious and as safe as I possibly can be. Use any cover that's available to you if you can do that, especially when there's so many radars now knocking about and obviously the aircraft carriers are back in play. But we're here safely in sea and we're starting to cap. Thoughts at this point are just try and take the cap as quickly as possible, look for any cover, and obviously there's those islands on the right hand side that I can nip into, and then start looking for potential targets to get these torpedoes into. There's torpedoes over there, I think about 11k away. Now the good thing about this location is I've got those little islands that I can just tuck in behind very sneakily, stay out of line of sight, get my torpedoes away, and then run for my life. I don't have a lot of mutual support at this point. I mean, I do have some friendlies behind me, but if I'm to get spotted now, I'm probably going to be in a bit of trouble. But nevertheless, try and get into a position where I can start dealing some damage, and then we have that Tirpitz. He's 6.8k away and closing, so we get the torpedoes away as quickly as we can. We know he's moving towards us very slowly. And you can just see the speed of those 81 knot torpedoes as we get detected by planes. Pull a knotser and slap into the island, and then smoke up for a little protection. I can remember just sitting here hoping to God that those torpedoes were going to finish the job. They're just incredibly quick, they give you no time to manoeuvre. That Tirpitz must be wondering what the hell is going on. 3, 4... and there's a kill, devastating strike, straight up to 62,500 damage, protected by smoke so we can bug out of there. And the first kill of the game for us, C's taken. Now we can just get out and start to reposition and look for next target. 2 ships to 1 up at this point, Cap's lead, obviously C taken, contesting A and B. And there's the Tirpitz. Wondering how many torpedoes were fired at him there. Again at forts, I mean, just to stay in this location at this point, secure this position, and just pick off any targets I possibly can do. Reload time on these torpedoes is absolutely fantastic as well. That's one real positive about this build. It is very aggressive and you have got to get in very close to the enemies. As I said, this sort of location is absolutely ideal. There's plenty of islands, plenty of cover. You can just tuck in behind and wait for an unsuspecting ship to sail by and try and get the torpedoes off, maximise our damage. So 1 salvo, 62,500 damage, not bad at all. And then we've got an enemy Yamato. Obviously hasn't learnt a lesson that the Tirpitz has just suffered. Surely he knows I'm lurking around here. Sailing broadside on, steady pace. He's just asking for it really, isn't he? So here we go, second salvo away. and we'll let go of all of them. So 15 torps in the water, heading towards our target 81 knots, and then we're going to pull out just to make sure we maintain that distance. I know there's a destroyer around here somewhere, but look at that. He's got absolutely no chance of surviving this. The Kurfürst and Bismarck must be a little bit pissed off. Hoping to possibly get some easy shots into him. But no, we shoot up to 150,000 damage, 2 salvos, 13 torpedo strikes. As of yet, no requirement for the guns, and just as well, they're not the best. But 2 very easy kills, and considerable damage already. I do really like the Shimakaze. It's a really stealthy DD. It's the kind of, I've said throughout most of my videos, it's the Japanese line that really suits me. And as I say that, here comes an enemy DD as we get detected, so we fire up a smoke before we start taking the inevitable inbound. But try and get out of there as quick as we can. Give us back that distance and regain our detectability. The enemy daring there to try and get some shots off, and do get some shots into him before we can turn back inside and start looking for another target. I was a little bit surprised at this point he didn't try and put the pressure on a little bit more than he did. Very keen to back away and bug out, allowing me to come back out and find a new spot to start getting some more torpedoes away. Still not sold on which build I really prefer with the Shimakaze. I think it's all ultimately down to what sort of style of play you like. I think this one does really favour some really high damage games, but you have got to be really brave and bold in trying to achieve that. I think ultimately I'm probably not that sort of player, but if you are and you're in the right situation, you could rack up some absolute monster games in this, I would imagine. But I've certainly enjoyed it. It's certainly a fun build. This is certainly one of the better games I had, albeit, as I said before at the start, it's one of the easy games. I wasn't really under too much pressure at any point. Kind of able just to sail around and pick my targets without too much resistance. And now we've got a Republic, a Zhao, an Iowa, all potential viable targets I can get my torpedoes into. And an Alsace. Well, I think at this point it's going to be the Iowa that we decide to get a torpedo spread off in his direction. Again, at this point I've only got the one loaded, so we'll get that one away, but if I had all 3 available to me I probably wouldn't have fired them. Knowing the Iowa's turning in, I didn't want to risk maybe missing too many with so many targets in the nearby area. And that Republic there as well is quite viable. He's now going to turn in between those 2 islands to try and give himself a little bit of breathing space. So that's where I was considering my next move, try and get myself into a position where, and there we have a torpedo strike on the Iowa for just over 14,000 damage. That shoots us up to 167,000 damage. And this game now it is all but won. It's just about farming whatever additional damage I can. 750 to 72, it is a foregone conclusion now. It's just a matter of when, not if. But we're getting a spread off now, heading towards the little pass between those 2 islands there. We know the Republic is coming in between those. And we chance one at the Iowa again. It's just whether these 81 not birds can get there quick enough, but look at that. Boom, 3rd kill of the game, high caliber, shoots us up to just over or just under 201,000 damage. So really not a bad return with this build. Again, the torpedoes are so quick. As long as you're in a position where you let them go from stealth, it leaves the enemy with literally no time at all to make any manoeuvres, particularly if you're focusing on battleships or larger battle cruisers like the Hood, for example. Firing from stealth, I mean, is always the preferred option when obviously in a DD. I mean, this isn't like the 12k or 20k sort of like fire and forget torpedoes. You have got to get in very close, you have got to gamble a little bit and take a chance. So use of natural cover, certainly as much mutual support as you can, but you'll notice during this game I've not fired guns at any point because I'd rather stay undetected. And I think that's the sort of approach you have to have. And there we have game 1. So not a bad game all in all, just under 201,000 damage. So not a bad return on this build. It's the first time I've used this build, and to be honest I was pretty impressed. I enjoyed the game. And we've received 502,000 silver, just over 5,000 experience, 258 free experience, 2 devastating strikes, a high caliber, and as I said before, just under 201,000 damage, so pretty decent game. But 17 torpedo hits is really key there. I mean, you can see just a 1 target hit from the guns, and as I said, you really want to try and avoid those when using this build to stay obviously as undetected as long as possible. 3 sinkings and 16 floods caused by those torpedoes. That was good enough to put us top of the board with those 3 kills, so just over 2,000 experience there. So guys, give this build a go, see what you think. Obviously leave us a comment down below to let us know, and like and subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. That'd be brilliant, would really help me out. And I'll catch you next time. Take care guys.